Welcome to the show, everybody. This is episode number 258 of the Iron Coop Fights movies. This episode is available on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, and hosted by SoundCloud. Please check out my graphic novel. The ebook is only $2.99. Link in the description. I'm Keo, your host. With me on the show today are my co-hosts Emerson.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And Everette.
Hey, what's up?
This week, the team reviews Black Swan. Nina is a ballerina whose passion for the dance rules every facet of her life. When the company's artistic director decides to replace his prima ballerina for their opening production of Swan Lake, Nina is his first choice. She has competition in newcomer Lily, however. While Nina is perfect for the role of the White Swan, Lily personifies the Black Swan. As rivalry between the two dancers transform into a twisted friendship, Nina's dark side begins to emerge. I'm going to explain our rating system. On this show, we give the titles that we have watched a rating of win, draw, or loss. A win is a title that we would highly recommend, while a draw is a title we didn't love but recognize others may appreciate. A loss means we do not recommend the title. All right, Emerson, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I've seen parts of this movie before, but this is the first time I've ever seen it fully. So I give it a win. I think it's very well acted. I think it's interesting. It's not really the type of movie I would seek out on my own, which is why I've never watched it before. I've seen other people watching it, but it is an excellent movie. I was, invested in it. I thought it was very interesting. Without spoiling stuff, the twist is very cool. And, very well acted, very well written. So it is a win, but it's just interesting because I'm pretty positive I will never see this again.
Well, that's what a lot of people say. That's what I said too. When after I saw it, I was like, that was a flawless film. I will never watch it again. and Jade, I was like, have you seen it? And she's like, yeah, but I'm not watching that again. And Everett, what's your review?
I sort of teetered between a draw and a win, but I gave it a win. The movie didn't really draw me in until about halfway through, and beyond that point, I was really invested. I kind of like what Emerson said. I thought it was very well acted. It was very well directed. The choreography was top notch, as it should be for something like this. I enjoyed the horror aspects that exist in this movie, but it wasn't as terrifying as I think it was hyped up for me to be, because I've been told by multiple people that it's like, oh, it's a horror movie. You should go in expecting that. And it wasn't really what I was expecting. Kind of like, I don't really know how to describe it. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Well, it's not horror, it's disturbing, which I almost feel like could be its own genre at this point.
But I have specific
put a Quiet Place in that genre too. Like, it's disturbing.
And it's not a thriller. Yeah, it's like a psychological thriller, maybe. I don't know.
I guess you could say I don't know. It's not a thriller. I don't know.
Psychological horror.
I had to rewind like 3 times because I thought I think I missed things, but it's
just 3 times.
There are a lot of interesting parts I want to go over that I have in my notes, but yeah, I give it a win.
Yeah, so I give it a win too, so we can talk about spoilers. I think that for me, what I like the most about this movie is how the arc is so well represented.
With Nina's transformation.
Yeah, how she goes from White Swan to the Black Swan.
Yes.
That transformation is so... can you imagine if Marvel movies had that type of writing to really show the arc instead of just third act, the music comes on and suddenly I have powers.
But see, and that's the thing, you can tell that a lot of time was spent on the writing and the story here. And I almost feel like for Marvel, if they did that, they would I think people would be bored, first of all, the average person. Mm-hmm. And second of all, I think that they would be that would take away from the effects.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we watched this because we saw The Hurt Locker, and that was sort of a little bit of a psychological thriller.
Right.
And so this one was another one that's kind of edge of your seat.
I thought we watched this because we saw Doctor Strange, and that had a horror element to it. And we're like, oh, well, let's just watch Black Swan.
So we meant to do it, but then we watched this. We forgot, and we watched The Social Network for some reason. And then
another psychological horror.
and Doctor Strange happened. But I was actually thinking, this, and it just occurred to me, this could be compared to Moon Knight.
Yes, actually, that's
in a
perfect.
Good way or a bad way.
Well, bad for Moon Knight.
Well, Moon Knight gets obviously. I'm saying you could have done. I'm obviously you would have lightened it up a little bit and a little bit funnier and more action, but just the idea, like the what's going on to this person, what's real, what isn't, like that really could have been in Moon Knight.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you because this movie is really good at establishing that, like, fairly early on, we gain insight into the fact that she's hallucinating. Like, and you're aware of it, and you're aware that she has problems and something, so she's hurting herself or she's like something has gone wrong. However, it's still shocking at the end when the reveal of just how much she's hallucinating and the depth of like her mental break is still like, oh fuck. Like that's a pretty significant, because at first you think at the end the turn is what she has apparently done. We're in spoilers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. At first you think, oh, she's murdered Lily. And
Yeah.
that's like the penultimate, like she's lost it. And then when you realize that's not even real, Moon Knight was totally missing that. And someone realized that because they had those fucking weird, like, we're in a hospital now scenes at the end of Moon Knight. They're like, yeah, let's bring back the psychological aspect. It's
Yeah,
like
I would call it half-assed, but it's not even half. It's like
quarter ass.
it's like a percentage of, hey, let's just dabble with a cool idea and never really explore it or push it to any sort of meaningful thing, because everything has to be great by the end of the film. Everyone's good, the bad guys win, everything's status quo. Like,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you guys, like, is there a name for like what she has? Is like some kind of psychosis or?
I imagine it was schizophrenia.
Yeah. Seems like schizophrenia. I mean, I guess it could be DID, but I've heard that's not how it really is.
Yeah,
Dissociative
that is
identity
more like
disorder.
supposedly what Moon Knight had, right?
Yeah. But I've also
Split
heard that it's not
personality.
really like multiple personalities. It's not like
Yeah,
cool. It's more just like you're crazy.
yeah. Like I thought it was interesting with her mom, because I'm not even sure how much of it, like when her, like I think that when she comes home late, her mom is, um, I think that was real. Like when her mom is mad at her and she like
Yeah.
smashes her hand and all that. But her mom is actually not like jealous of her. Her mom is like, what the fuck is going on? This is,
Yeah.
she's
She
out of
seems
control.
like kind of controlling, if not anything else.
And like some of the other parts, like when Nina comes home when she's drunk and she says that she fucked both of those guys, it's like, no, you didn't. Like you pretended it was Lily, that because it didn't really show her like that. I mean, it didn't really show her like having sex in that club.
No.
So like
And
at most
then
she made out and like ran away.
exactly. And then like there's the like Lily scene, because it's interesting because that when I was watching it, I was like, oh, it's weird that like she's having this fight and then
Lily doesn't do anything,
yeah,
say
Lily doesn't do
anything.
anything or say anything, and like it's just not an issue. Like that's strange. And then it's like, oh, that never happened. And like the movie reinforces the previous issues.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was cool that because I didn't remember. It was 12 years ago, I think, that I saw this, which is crazy because I was already an adult then, and it's like 12 years have passed. But I was 20 years old, I think. Um, and I remember this movie gave me nightmares, which that never happens to me. But I think it was Winona Ryder when she like was in the kitchen stabbing herself. That I think was the part that gave me nightmares.
Yeah, and she's good in this. And then I like
Was that Sebastian Stan at that one
Yeah,
point? Like, wasn't he one of the
yeah.
guys in the bar? Yeah.
I think it's really, really interesting because talking about this, I'm like, hey, that was a great scene. That was a great scene. Never want to watch it again.
When you guys see Winona Ryder, what's the first thing that you think?
Stranger Things.
Beetlejuice.
Okay. For me, it was when she was caught shoplifting at that one store. I think you
What?
guys are maybe just a little too young
Wait, when did this?
Yeah, wait,
because
what?
she has not really lived that down. Um, let's see, Winona Ryder, shoplifting. It was a big deal. Um, Let me see if I can find it in her Wikipedia. Like it was like right around when the internet 2001. Yeah. Like the internet wasn't a huge thing yet. So it wasn't like you saw it on Reddit or like the news cycle was so crazy. This was pretty big news. Beverly Hills, California, $5,500 worth of designer clothes at Saks Fifth Avenue.
Oh wow.
She signed two civil demands in the security offices of the store before she was arrested, binding her to pay for the stolen and surrendered merchandise. Um, They filed felony charges, negotiations failed to produce a plea bargain. She was accused of using drugs during the trial, including oxycodone, diazepam, Vicodin, without valid prescriptions. She was convicted of grand theft. She was ordered to attend psychological and drug counseling. She had served 480 hours of community service, felonies reduced to misdemeanors. She was on probation until 2005. She was clinically depressed, she says, heavy pain killing medication. That a physician practicing quackery had described her for her significantly clouded. Oh, it significantly clouded her judgment.
What's quackery?
Yeah, it's just the word for like a quack, like the doctor's
Health fraud. Okay.
The doctor who had prescribed the medication subsequently had his medical license revoked. Unethically catering to the demands of the wealthy and or famous drug seekers for prescription narcotics, which would otherwise have to be obtained in the street. I bet you he gave some to Johnny Depp.
Oh, for sure. The whole group.
So yeah, that's like every time I see her, I'm like, oh, Winona Ryder. And like the fact that she was still in things is like her sort of bouncing back. Like Stranger Things and this are like her two biggest things that she did as a comeback. I don't know if she's been in it. I don't recall. But yeah, it was a big problem. You know, she was almost cast, if you remember, as the niece in Godfather 3. The daughter, I should say.
Oh, the one that the director's daughter plays? Or...
Yeah. And then Nicolas Cage was going to be the guy, the new Godfather guy. What was his name? Sonny Corleone's son.
God, I keep thinking of Manfredo, but that's not it.
So you know Nicolas Cage is the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, he asked to be in the movie, but was denied.
And then, so his name was originally Coppola. And then we were just talking about this. It's really funny. So but Winona Ryder was set to play the role. But then she dropped out and they had already just passed on Nicolas Cage. But if they had picked him, then he would have actually been like playing cousins on screen. Weird. So
that would have been hilarious.
I think I told you guys, like, I met Nicolas Cage at a wrestling tournament because his son wrestled for Beverly Hills.
You may have mentioned that to me once.
He was a heavyweight, and like we were both seniors, and we were both captains. So I have a picture of us like in the captain's thing. You know, his son was big. He wasn't that good, but as from what I remember, but he was big. Anyway,
didn't he change his last name to Cage because of Luke Cage, or am I remembering that wrong?
Yeah, it's Luke Cage. Yeah. Also because he was getting like, he felt like people weren't taking him seriously because his last name was Coppola. So what I found out this weekend was that Jade's sister got proposed to by Nicolas Cage's son when she was 16.
Because she went to Beverly Hills.
Yeah. And I guess
guessing she didn't say yes.
I guess he was a really awkward. Let me paint a picture for you. You tell me what this sounds like.
Oh no.
He was a large boy, very awkward, liked to wear trench coats. This is not my description. This is how Jade's sister described him. And said he was very socially awkward and bizarre and very rich. And he proposed. So yeah, she said no. I could have been hanging out with Nick Cage. You never know.
Could have had Nick Cage
you could have been
podcast.
Cast in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yep. He'd probably be making my graphic novel right
exactly. Now. Yeah. You'd be ready to go. You'd have to make a character for him to voice stuff.
He could play the king. So anyway, back to the movie. What were we talking about before the
Winona Ryder?
Oh, Winona Ryder, yeah. So she was pretty good. I think, did Natalie Portman win an Oscar for this?
I don't know, but check? I remember when. Yeah, I can check right now.
Because she was actually fantastic. I'd like to know who beat her.
Yeah, I told my mom that I was watching this movie, and all she would tell me is, she never danced ballet once before this movie. She had to learn it all for this film. She did pretty well.
Yeah, it was brutal. One of the other things that I hated was
so hard to
the finger part where she like rips up the skin.
Yeah.
So unsettling.
She won Best Actress. Uh,
Is it an Oscar?
I can't tell because it's not specifically saying. Yes, she won an Oscar.
Yeah, she had to.
Best Actress.
There's no way. Black Swan, Oscar.
List of accolades received by Black
Best
Swan.
Actress. Let's see. The film won Best Foreign Film in Argentina. Okay.
It won. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress. It won. Nominated for Best Cinematography and Best Film Editing.
Yeah.
So Darren Aronofsky was gonna do a Batman Year One at some point.
I mean,
would have been
he's got the
interesting.
style.
It would have been different for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
What are some of
but-
the other movies he did The Fountain and
Oh,
Requiem
Mila
for a Dream.
Kunis won an award from the Venice Film Festival for it.
I think she did pretty well with her. So I think in another scenario, so this came out 2010, but
Okay.
I have to assume that Mila Kunis must have just missed out on Black Widow
You think so?
because they would have been casting probably around the same time as this movie.
How old is she? Let's see.
But she is Russian, and she was really popular at that point. And I have to think like she could have been. I guess they went to who's John Krasinski's wife, Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt, yeah.
They went to her first, and then they went to ScarJo, I guess. But like,
She's a year older than ScarJo, yeah.
if Mila Kunis wasn't up for that role, like she should fire her agent because she could have been Black Widow.
Yeah, she would be good.
So yeah, I think that what's her name? Natalie Portman, the way she played the fragile, innocent, like White Swan versus that brief time she had to play the Black Swan. I mean, I think she did it all perfectly, especially at the end when she realizes that like it had all been in her head.
Mhm.
She immediately switches back into the White Swan again, who's about to die. Like crazy. What do you guys think about, how she thinks that she kills Lily, but then realizes that she didn't, and then realizes that she
Stabbed herself.
stabbed herself? What if they didn't show the part where her stomach is bleeding? 'Cause
I think that so it's a surprise when she dies, basically.
yeah,
again.
because it is a little odd that she has that wound, and apparently the wound is real, but no one can see it until that point, and then it's like it's all
Well,
out.
isn't she wearing a black dress beforehand?
Yeah, she's wearing the black, but she's also wearing the white, which has the hole in it.
Yeah, you'd think she would have noticed it when she was putting the white dress on.
Yeah.
Well, so I get what you're saying, Kia, because it would have been more surprising if the audience didn't get it revealed that she'd stabbed herself, and so it's more like, oh shit, she did stab herself. But I also think that it's part of ramming home the idea that she is in really bad hallucinations. Like it's not just that she imagined herself stabbing Lily; she stabbed herself physically during the what she was imagining. So I think it's just supporting that.
But I also feel like how does no one see that she's bleeding from her stomach?
Right. And yeah, I agree. It's like, because I thought maybe she was going to have to change into a different costume again, maybe, or something was going to happen where it's like, but yeah, then she's just, I'm perfect.
That was the other thing, which is I feel like, because it's not like it's not a running theme, but I feel like they should have said the word perfect more in the movie, because at the end when she says I'm perfect, it seems like that was all she was trying to be. And I was like, yeah, but she also had like major self-esteem issues. So she wasn't like striving for perfection. She was trying to survive for most of the movie.
Right. And so maybe if there
Yeah.
was a running theme of like, you have to be perfect. This needs to be perfect. Like this,
And she has to say it too. Like,
yeah.
I need,
Like,
everyone's like, it's good enough. And she's like, it has to be perfect. And they're like, it is perfect, basically. She's like, it's not good enough.
Like
Yeah.
you could have added in like when she walks in on Mila Kunis performing the part in rehearsals instead of her. You could have had the director be like, "It's perfect," and that probably could have set her off.
And I
little
also
bit
think
more.
that Winona Ryder should have maybe said something to her about like perfection.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you'll know, like something like, you'll never know what that feels like. You're not as good, like something different than what she said. I didn't have a problem with what she said, but I think Winona Ryder would have been the right person to sort of set that as a standard that Mila then, or not Mila,
I was a little confused by her. So she jumped in front of a car and tried to kill herself. I 100% thought that was going to come back and be like, oh, she pushed her or something, like in her weird, like psychotic
I
moments.
also was thinking it was going to connect to her more.
Well, she does show up in the movie a lot after that, strangely enough, but none of it's real.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's where I was wondering. Like at first, I was like, oh, Natalie Portman's character pushed her, and then I was like, oh, maybe she never got hit by the car, and that's going to be like a secondary reveal. And it's just,
Yeah. Do we know for sure if she got hit by the car?
I mean,
She was in the crowd, wasn't she, at the end?
Was she even really in the hospital?
I thought she was really in the hospital.
I don't know about that because I thought it was a weird cut to where she's suddenly in the hospital.
Well, her director said, I think she did it on purpose, which implies that she tried to kill herself over the decision. But
Yeah.
and she's unconscious for the whole rest of the time because that other, when she's like stabbing herself, is the only other time you see her awake, and that wasn't real.
Yeah.
So I was kind of expecting her to wake up at the end and be like, I didn't try to kill myself, she pushed me. Or something like that.
What did you think about the wings? Like when she kept having those bleeding rashes on her back?
I have it in my notes. There's a few times during this movie, it happens during the sex scene, it happens during the end when she's going through the transformation. Her skin does like this ripple effect that seems almost alien, and it's really trippy. But seeing like her transformation like that is really, it's really cool. It's very gradual because you're right. Like it starts off like as a few scratches and stuff, and by the end, it's like a full transformation.
The other thing that was kind of disturbing was when all those portraits of her.
Um,
And
Oh.
like, remember at the very first at the beginning when one of them just like moves? You guys remember that?
That was a WandaVision style moment. Like,
Yeah.
WandaVision. That was they did the same thing in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, but it was scarier here.
Oh, way scarier.
Because that was just like an
I
eye movement.
I thought the clone like facial features were more scary. Like when she's with Mila Kunis and she turns into her multiple times,
That
or when
too.
she's like talking to herself in the mirrors, like that, I thought was much scarier.
That too, yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
rewind it a little bit. I thought she had like a forked tongue at one point.
Did she?
I want to,
No, I don't think so, but it looked like it.
and I just also want to say that it's impressive that these scenes are so uncomfortable and scary, considering the subject matter is a ballet. Like,
Yeah, that's the other thing is it's actually pretty genius. And I don't know if Darren Aronofsky came up with it. I think he did, like when I read about this a while ago. But I'm sure, whoever came up with this idea of like Swan Lake, but it's the ballet of Swan Lake, and it's about the people putting on the ballet of Swan Lake, and then to take the story of like the evil twin and whatever, and to turn it into like a mental psychological story where she's like fighting herself.
yep.
Like, I mean, this is a very, very layered movie. Really smart.
Can I also ask what the fuck was up with her and her director? Like, I
Are you
don't get
asking
like.
if it's real or you
Well,
asking-
I'm partially. Was it real? Was it him trying to seduce her?
I mean, I think she definitely bit him. I think that
Mhm.
he was trying. I don't think he was trying to have sex with her. I think he was trying to like get her to be a little like raunchier and to let loose a little bit.
for the play?
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
probably like, it was in an unhealthy way, which probably didn't help like her
Her
mental
total
breakdown.
mental, yeah.
So I think he was maybe a bit unprofessional, but I don't think like he tried to rape her or like, but he, I think nowadays they would call it an abuse of power,
Mhm.
because all these girls would probably sleep with him, right? I don't know. It seemed like Winona Ryder did, the way that she was acting.
She accused, yeah.
So the husband is Vincent Cassell. He's a famous French actor. He's been in this one series of films that I can't remember right now.
He was in Ocean's 11 and 12.
He's in Ocean's 12, I
13.
believe.
And then he's in 13 for like 5 minutes.
He is married to Monica Bellucci, who was in the Matrix movies.
Oh my God.
She was the wife of that guy everyone hated.
Merovingian.
Yes, that guy.
Oh man,
She was the wife of the Merovingian. So that's
Why
her
didn't he
husband.
play the Merovingian, bro?
Yeah, he's a lot cooler than whatever that was.
Yes. Yeah. He is.
I
I'm
also
just
think
now remembering.
I guess he's
Um,
older now, but I don't know. Back then, like if this was 2010, he would have. I know they picked George St. Pierre, but he could have done a cool Batroc the Leaper in the Winter
Oh
Soldier.
yeah.
A cool French villain. And then didn't Winter Soldier have Batroc in it? But he was
Yes.
totally wasted. I don't know. Like I feel like he has a place in the MCU somewhere, but they haven't
I
utilized him
think
yet.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier had him too, didn't they? For a little while.
That's what I said, right?
you said
You
you
said the
said
Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, yeah. Falcon and the Winter Soldier had him. Yeah, had Batroc in it also, but he was completely wasted.
Yeah, well, that show was.
Yeah.
Let me think. I guess that's about all I have to say about. I really like the Black Swan performance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I thought it was absolutely. I just was really surprised because this is a movie when it came out. When did it come out? What year? 2010.
2010.
I remember like people talked about it. Like my mom was talking about it with her friends, and like so like I had this idea in the back of my head that it was good, but then it kind of like went away, and so I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't as good as. But
No,
I
I
like
just think a lot of people are like, yeah, I can't watch this.
yeah, and I think that
Yeah,
totally makes sense because it's sadistic.
yeah, really, really well done though. Like top
Mhm.
class film. All right, do you have a fight of the week?
I did not prepare one for this one.
All right. All right, so then Roundup.
Okay.
Anybody? Okay, I watched Ozark.
Oh,
The
Ozark.
show,
Okay.
I
What do you
watched
think?
all of Ozark.
What do you think?
all like every single season.
Yeah. I actually watched it last week and I forgot to talk about it.
Okay, I was gonna say if you finished the whole series in 1 week, holy shit.
Yeah. I thought it was trash.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
My
Why did
parents
you
love that
watch it
show.
then?
Well, I watched the first season and I liked it. Then one of the people at work was like, "Oh, it's so good. The new season's coming out." So I watched season 2. And, we're going to talk in spoilers, but have you guys seen it?
I've seen
No.
parts of it, but I've heard it's amazing.
Okay. I don't need to spoil the whole thing, but I'll just tell you like the way it's written, it was clearly like because Netflix always does 2 seasons, but the way they wrote it was not smart. So it ends with the person that was like their biggest threat, like gets suddenly killed. And they're like free from that threat, but now there's a new threat. And that's season 2.
So kind of like Breaking Bad. Like,
Yes. So you do that once and you think, all right, so this is them like saying, all right, we're expanding the story now. Like obviously they couldn't be under the threat of this guy for so long without the stakes feeling stupid. So like he's gone, he's eliminated. Now there's a new threat. And like we're gonna build the world around them from there and like what's gonna happen next. I'm like, okay. But and I'm not when I say it's trash, I'm not saying it's like worthless, but for me, it was a waste of time. The amount of times where people entered a conversation and one of them ends up dead as a surprise, like the other person that killed them didn't know that they were going to kill them. Like it's just like somebody comes in and is like, "Yeah, you're going to jail. I hate you. Like everything your life is about to end." And the next thing I'm going to do is walk right into the police. Say, "Oh, I slipped and fell and I'm dead." And that's like, "Oh, threat eliminated." The story
that
keeps
doesn't
going.
actually happen, does it?
I know of at least one time where the person literally slips on a rock. The other ones are like that, and and like it could just be like somebody shoots them, but it's like, dude, really, like you're doing this again, like another. I mean, I could like it's been a week since I haven't really watched it, but um, I remember I was going over it with my friend who told me it was good, and I was like, I could tell you 5 times right now where people just die when they entered a conversation because it was to just remove them from the plot, like all the way. So what happens is, and I don't think the show really understood what it was doing, which is like at first you're rooting for them because the cartel's like breathing down their neck. Then they start to become slimy people themselves and doing all kinds of terrible things. So then you're kind of rooting for them to like get like what they deserve, you know? But it seems like the writers didn't understand like that's what I wanted. Like that's what I was kind of waiting for. I'm like, at least there's going to be a resolution. Um, and then the end of the show is basically them like I swear it's another like conversation I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but it's basically another conversation where some person dies. And I don't know. And then you talk to people, like I talked to that person who turned me on to it because they hadn't seen the finale either, right? It was new for her also. And she was like, yeah, it wasn't so good. And I think a lot of people, dude, I mean, they were acting like this is the new Breaking Bad or the new like
That's what I had
Sopranos
heard,
or
yeah.
whatever shit like that. No, it's not as good. It is not as good as those shows. I told her, I was like, have you seen Bloodline? She's like, no. I'm like, Bloodline's on Netflix and it's way better than this. Like, and it's, yeah, so I would put it like beneath Bloodline, which most people would rank beneath Breaking Bad and Sopranos. So,
Okay, well that's good to know.
and Bloodline was a good show. Like, I would say that's a good show.
What's Bloodline about?
I keep thinking of Blood Hunters every time you say it. I'm
It has the guy, director Krennic, Ben Mendelsohn. Mendelsohn. He's in it. It's about a family, like a rich family, and it's actually not that different from Ozark. Like, they own land in Florida, I believe, and it's about like, it's just like the family politics around it. You know, there's like blood and corruption and all that shit. It's very like Ozark, but not written like stupidly. Where there's like a villain of the season and then they suddenly die. I'll tell you, at the end of season 1, the cartel makes a deal with the local hillbillies who are producing drugs. And after they make the deal, he calls them hillbillies and they shoot him. That is how, yeah. And that was the first time that happened. So I'm like, okay, so they removed that threat and whatever. But after they kept doing stuff like that, I mean, at what point am I supposed to be like, this is fucking stupid?
Yeah, I could see that being annoying. All right, well, that's good to know, I guess.
I have some questions for you guys real quick for Roundup.
Well, I have something I watched too, so
I will just real quick. I got recommended 3 different shows that I want your opinions on.
Sopranos.
Well, I'm not watching any of them until I finish Sopranos, but I
So
want to
you'll
see if you
never
guys
watch any of them. Man.
Yeah, basically. But I want your opinion. So one of them I think I've already gotten. It's the one where they're like ranchers out in Colorado.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
It's in Montana.
Everette, we talked
Montana.
about this in depth.
Okay. So, there's that one. The second one is
okay. I would put it on the level of Ozark, maybe slightly better.
The second one's called Succession.
I've heard that's good.
I've heard it's good. Don't know anything about it.
And then the third one is the one with Josh Brolin called The Outer Range.
I don't know what that is.
I haven't heard of that.
It's like he's like living on a ranch and there's like a hole that opens up and like weird stuff starts popping out of it. I don't know. But
I
have heard of it actually. I don't know anything about it though.
Okay.
Does he jump in the pit, Everette?
Shut up.
I would just say Yellowstone is worth watching just for the comedy.
Okay, didn't you say cowboys are like iron special forces?
Yeah, they act like they're Navy SEALs, like the way that they're the only ones that can handle anything. Like, dude, you fucking rustle cattle. Like, you're not a trained fighter. Like, and then everything's like they shit on like city boys constantly. It's almost like a romance novel in how like stupid it is with cowboys and like women but the guy's good in it. What's his name? The old guy, Superman's dad.
Yeah, fucking Jor-El.
No, not Jor-El.
Not Jor-El.
His actual dad, Pa Kent.
Pa Kent. Yeah.
What was that actor's name? Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Emerson, you got something?
So last night I watched Creator Clash. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, to give you a sense of what this is.
What was it on?
It was on YouTube. Okay. What it was they brought a bunch of YouTube stars and they had them box each other.
Oh.
For charity. Okay. But it was
you know the origin of that? Of why it happened?
Because iDubbbz wanted to do it.
Oh yeah. I mean the whole thing with him and Rice Gum. But anyway, continue.
Okay. So there were like 9 fights. They were 3-minute 5 rounds. And
it's okay.
Almost all of them ended in like a TKO or the ref just like stopping the match.
Because the guy's too tired.
No, there was almost no clinching. It was one person who like had a little bit of athleticism and just fucked the other person up. Like, oh my God, dude. On one of the matches, the guy was just getting punched and they're throwing the replays and he's keeping his hands down. He's just getting hammered. And the guy who's hammering him was from Australia. And he was like looking at the ref and the ref's like, continue. It was fucked. Like
You
Michael
should have told
Reeves.
me to watch it.
It's $20. My other friend
Oh,
invited me to
fuck
see
that.
it.
Oh,
So you would have had to pay $20 to watch it.
yeah.
But we
never
can
mind.
watch them on YouTube now for free. So we can all watch them together,
Now,
which I'm down
okay.
to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't pay for it. I was invited to watch it.
Yeah.
And so they're like fucking each other up. There were a couple good fights. And then the final fucking fight, without spoiling anything, it's this guy who's significantly better. The guy who's significantly better won. Okay. And then on Twitter was like talking shit and saying they were trying to make him lose by like doing rule changes and stuff. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like it was actually like hilarious to watch. So we should 100% check it out on YouTube at some point.
Okay, cool. For Roundup, I think. Oh, I'm watching Sopranos again,
Mhm.
and I got to the episode where the soccer coach is molesting the girl.
He's fucking little Allie.
Such a funny episode. All right. What else is next? We did. Do you guys have anything for gaming?
Yeah, I have one thing.
Okay.
I've been playing. I just today purchased and played Squad. Squad is the modern day equivalent of Hell Let Loose.
Hasn't it been out for a while?
It has, and I just never bought it. But I watched the trailer and I was like, that looks fun. So I went and played it. It's got the same exact issues and same exact advantages of Hell Let Loose. Like it is slower. It is like more team oriented.
Is this a multiplayer thing or?
Yeah, it's multiplayer. Yeah, it's just like
So
Hell
you're
Let
playing.
Loose.
It's like PvP.
Yeah, it's just like Hell Let Loose. Exactly. But like the factions are like America, Canada, Britain, Russia, ISIS. Like
So is there like an aiming reticle?
no, but if you have a scope, you can aim down the scope.
And is it open battlefields or is it like
Yeah,
buildings? I thought it was a SWAT game, right?
No, that's a different game. Squad, that's police or SWAT. But no, it's open battlefields. It's 100 players, 50v50, and it's giant maps just like Hell Let Loose, and there's cities and stuff. And like, I mean, I was playing it earlier and like I was playing on the Russian team and there were a bunch of us in this building. And then someone just goes like, hey, did any of you guys pop smoke? And like we look and there's like orange smoke. And then I guess someone who actually knew what they're doing, he's like, oh, that's target marker smoke, get down. And then we got artillery strike to hell. It was actually fucking like it was interesting, but it also suffers from the same thing Hell Let Loose does, where sometimes it's like, what the fuck is happening? Like we're just being like obliterated. Where are we? Like, so
Interesting. Yeah, I've been looking at Hell Let Loose on the console and like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't even turned my Xbox on since we played Ghost Recon.
neither have I. But something that's interesting. This is the second thing I wanted to bring up. Arma is coming to Xbox and PlayStation.
Really?
Yes, Arma Reforger. It's a new game. It's supposed to be set on an island. It's the same company that used to make Operation Flashpoint. It's set on an island that's supposed to be 52 square kilometers, 1980s US versus Russians on this island. And it said it will come with full workshop and custom scenario support for console. So you can create your own scenarios with like AI and
Is
stuff.
Arma a war game or was it like a battle royale thing?
Arma's a war game, not a battle royale. Came out of mods for Arma.
That's so
the
odd though, because
original
Arma
Arma-
has so many inputs and stuff on PC that you can't do controller support. So I'm wondering how they're going to adapt that.
I mean, I don't know, but it seems like type of thing could be interesting. Like based on the level editor they were talking about, Kia could go in and be like, okay, I'm going to recreate Osama bin Laden's raid, or I'm going to recreate D-Day. And like, you can set up AI and play it with your friends. Like could be
That's
cool.
potential. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I also got Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2.
How is it?
It's good. It's only like $15, but it's early access. And I guess the original has like a bunch of mods and stuff for it that make it a lot better. And obviously, since this is brand new, like literally
They're not out
a
yet.
couple days, yeah. So I could do with a tutorial, to be honest, but like it's not that hard. But I don't know how to make the armies face each other when I place them. Like if I put them in a city, it's like a rectangle that I put it over the city. So I put them on, but then they'll be like on the roofs, like on the roof of the buildings and shit. And like I don't know why. So
Okay.
Yeah, so like I got to do some work on that.
But you're enjoying it. Is it doing what you hoped? How much variation does it have?
Right now, it has about 4 or 5 maps. It's decent enough. Like I believe there's the one called Mount Olympus. There's the city of Troy. There's just like deserts.
But I mean,
It's
in terms of units, like,
it doesn't have that much variation right now, but the original does.
okay,
There's a lot, so I'm guessing more will come.
okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't quite need it yet for what I needed it for, so I'm just glad it exists.
That's fair.
All right, let's talk some news. Doctor
Oh,
Strange.
wait, real quick. Did you you might have it in here. Did you guys see the Cobra Kai trailer?
Oh no,
No.
I didn't. But I
The
heard that it's coming out in September or August.
yeah, I think it's September 9th. The new trailer dropped.
Was
I
the
watched
trailer
it.
good?
Yeah, I think it looks great. I mean, I think it's on
Did it
par with
tease
everything
anything?
else they've done. Um, it basically shows like Cobra Kai expanding across the valley, and like it's setting up stuff from the last season. I think it looks about on par with everything else they've done, but I do hope they end it at some point. They shouldn't drag it on forever.
Yeah, I remember when we watched, I was thinking it might have 2 more seasons left.
Yeah.
So this would be one. Most of the news is Doctor Strange or Obi-Wan related.
Okay.
Doctor Strange 2 says Namor wasn't a member of the Illuminati because Marvel has other plans for him. We talked about it because he's certainly an original member, but I think Marvel has other plans for him in the MCU, so he didn't make his way to this particular movie.
I mean,
Okay.
I think Iron Man's an original member too, and they could have done that, but they didn't. So
I think it's weird that Iron Man wasn't in it, considering Ultron was. Um, we think Namor might be in Black Panther. the
Okay.
sequel. So, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness writer defends Scarlet Witch's story arc and addresses ending. There was an earlier version of the sequel with Wanda as part of the ensemble before turning bad near the end of the movie. There was never a way to service her fall from grace properly as a supporting character in the movie because there had to be a separate antagonist. And it also felt like we were leaving the biggest bit of fun on the table for somebody else. That's true because they're saying like she's good, she's good, she's good. Oh, she became bad at the end. And then the next movie, that's what all Marvel is right now, is like to set it, like to do a half-assed idea and then to set it up for the next one. And so they're right. Like, no, you do it in that movie. Like, she's the villain. You don't make a third villain. And truth be told, having watched and experienced and studied WandaVision, I felt like she was at the point in possession of the Darkhold where she was ready to break bad. Yeah, you're not going to do it again, do the same fucking arc again, right?
becoming Scarlet Witch.
This is the problem with WandaVision, is that it should have been this. Like,
Yeah, but
yeah.
yeah.
My interpretation of WandaVision is that she confronts her grief and she lets go of the people she has under her control, but I don't think she necessarily resolves her grief in that show, and I don't think she resolves her anger. Yeah, she
Yeah, there's
doesn't
no
resolve anything.
solution. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe she's able to say goodbye to Vision, but I think she's really just fallen in love with those kids. I mean, are they real? Are they not? I mean, I think that all of those hanging threads are the things that the Darkhold preys on when she gets the Darkhold from Agatha. Did she survive? I think that's up for interpretation. She made some kind of sacrificial act that destroyed the Darkhold in every universe, which is protecting Wanda in every universe from being seduced by the Darkhold. Whether she's dead or not remains to be seen. I know what it's like to love characters and to not want them to be gone and to hate when they do bad things, but that's part of the fun of watching stuff and getting swept up in it. Yeah, that's exactly my point of like when characters should die. Like it gives some significance to what you had.
Yeah.
It can't
No,
just be like everything's fine all the time.
this guy sounds like he totally understands it. Like he laid out all the reasons. Like,
And the fans, like who are the fans? How many people walked out of that theater and were like, we liked it? And how many fans walked out like, oh, my WandaVision?
well, yeah, but
He says Mephisto was never in play for this.
They're never gonna do Mephisto. Maybe someday.
the fans are idiots. They're like obsessed with Mephisto.
Elizabeth Olsen also defends the movie. In defense of the superhero genre, saying that it frustrates her when people make them seem like a lesser type of art. Yeah. And then if you criticize it, the people who love it will also be like, it's a superhero movie. You're not supposed to take it that seriously. I'm not saying we're making indie art films, but I just think it takes away from our crew, which bugs me. These are some of the most amazing set designers, costume designers, camera operators. I feel diminishing them with that kind of criticism takes away from all the people who do award-winning films that also work on these projects. From an actor's point of view, however, I get it. I totally understand that there's a different kind of performance that's happening. But I do think throwing Marvel under the bus takes away from the hundreds of very talented crew people. That's where I get a little feisty. Well, I think she's wrong because, like, her character more than anybody has had more acting to do. Many others are just like fucking jokes,
Yeah.
like acting like morons. Morbius, Sony Pictures may have removed Spider-Man reference from the movie's baffling mid-credit scene. So funny.
I know. You love to see it.
The prevailing theory is that the villain would have originally been a part of this world with no explanation after Sony's deal to share Spidey with Disney concluded, but reshoots led to the Vulture being dragged into another reality, which actually makes zero sense. It's so funny. In The Stinger, we saw Adrian suited up and attempting to recruit Michael Morbius to a seemingly heroic Sinister Six. Why? Why would you do a heroic Sinister Six? He briefly mentioned believing Spider-Man might be responsible for his arrival in a different reality, and while the living vampire greeted this reveal with a blank stare, what? They spelled the
Yeah,
S-T-A-I-R.
they spelled it wrong. What
The
the
reference
fuck?
may have been cut altogether. Prince in his local theater have scrapped that Spider-Man mention. Oh, I didn't realize it was happening in the theaters. Um, let's see. It has something to do with Spider-Man. Wow, so they cut it from the theaters. I thought that they were cutting it for like the release.
Of the DVD, yeah. Huh. That's fascinating.
I mean, okay, so what are your guys' theories on why this happened?
So I think maybe someone finally realized how fucking stupid it was.
I
Because
think that's really like optimistic thinking.
I agree with you, but like, come on, it makes no sense. He's like, I think it had something to do with Spider-Man. No reason he knows that.
He literally says like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I think it has something to do with
Yes.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. No reason he knows that. Makes no sense. Makes no sense he would say that to Michael Morbius. Makes no sense that Michael Morbius would know what the fuck he's talking about. Makes no sense that Michael Morbius would be okay with it. The whole thing's just fucking stupid, dude.
Yeah, it's a little convoluted.
I think that they are not allowed to make Spider-Man references in their movies. And I don't know what happened at the end of Venom 2, like how Tom Holland was in that. But I think that maybe they're not allowed to say Spider-Man. And that might be it because they didn't say Spider-Man in that one. So it could be that. But I think these are lawyers. Like, since the movie came out, Marvel and Sony have been fighting it out with their lawyers, I'm guessing. And now they're saying pull it. Because if you were waiting for fan reaction to be like, oh shit, this is a bad idea, well, that came and went already. So you didn't do it because you thought it was bad. You did it because you had to.
That's true.
And putting him in the trailer, you were 100% trying to say like,
It's
yeah,
together.
together, they're in the movie. And then now you're removing that one thing that you had. That's all the movie had going for it. Yeah, I think it's lawyers. Benedict Cumberbatch was offered a villain role. He revealed that he passed on the part of Dark Elf Malekith in Thor: The Dark World.
That's good.
Yeah. I was bold enough to say I'd rather hold out for something a bit more juicy.
Yeah, good for him. He's a good Doctor Strange.
About becoming Doctor Strange, I sort of read the comics and went, yikes, because he's quite old school and a bit of a misogynist, very bound in the 70s. I thought, it's a bit cornball. I'm not sure this is a great MCU role. I don't get it. They went, no, it would be today. It would be very much a man of today. Yes, with some of those qualities, but like a man of today would have those qualities where he thinks he's the business because he has to have that arrogance. I mean, from what I heard on the set of Endgame where he was like a total douche and making all his female assistants cry, I don't really like him.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness resurfaced plot leaks reveals MCU's Mordo's original fate.
This is where he gets killed by Wanda.
I believe he gets killed. There, where is it? The differences are minimal. He was completely absent from Doctor Strange. However, in an earlier cut of the movie, we have seen MCU's Mordo hunting Wanda Maximoff through the forest with a magic bow in hand. She beheads him, making it clear from the start that the Scarlet Witch is the lead villain here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that works well, like story-wise.
Yeah, because like,
But I like
Yep.
that he has an ending.
but it was also weird. Yeah, because in this movie, even though he doesn't show up from 616, Strange clearly is aware of him. So they like hint that there's history there and then don't show him. So
Yeah. I think it's better that you see Wanda reveal herself to be the villain the way that it happens, because if you put that scene in there, you would have had to put it somewhere in the beginning, which you already start with a weird beginning. So then putting another basically cold opening after the first one,
yeah.
I just don't think it would have worked. But in my mind, if you tell me he's dead, I'm okay with that. Because like, what are they going to do with him? He's going to start killing sorcerers. Like, Doctor Strange 3 is going to be about something else entirely. I bet.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump, team of Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, and Robert Zemeckis to reunite for graphic novel adaptation. I guess it's called Here.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's
Why
not
the
about
fuck
Forrest
does it
Gump.
sound like
Huh?
time and memory? It sounds like that fucking movie we watched that we quit halfway through with the
Yeah,
plane exploding.
Cloud Atlas or something.
Yeah.
That was so funny. Let's just turn the movie off if he dies. We all cheer.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be about Forrest Gump. All right. The Flash star Ezra Miller gets very agitated with police officers in Hawaii arrest footage.
Oh, there's footage? Oh, okay.
This is the first time.
Okay, so it's later footage of the first time. Okay.
Dylan O'Brien to take over the role, but the studio exec denied this. See, I film assaults for NFTs. Is this him?
It's blurry as shit.
All right, he come right up to me and just.
Yeah?
I don't know. I
So
don't
you spit in your face for no reason.
guess that's-
Yeah, I was like way across the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel
That guy
like
sounds
Tell me
Hawaiian.
your name and your badge number. White key.
Ezra.
That sounds like him.
Full badge number.
Yeah.
Tell me your name and your badge number. Tell me your name and your badge number. Please don't touch me. Tell me your name and your badge number. Now.
Playing all of this theatrics.
Look at what he's wearing.
He looks like the Joker.
Yeah.
Real quick. But no, you wanted to play the game.
I was complying.
Well, you didn't want to comply.
I was. You said get off the road. I got off the road.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No,
Amendment rights to not be searched and seized. Please do not touch my ring.
Oh my god. Okay. I don't even want to hear. So apparently, I mean, we saw something that suggests that he got in trouble again.
He threw a chair or something.
I saw
table
he
at someone?
spit at a guy or something.
I think that might be
One of them was, I'm sure he. Oh my god, that picture of him. One of them was he got really intoxicated, which is I'm sure that
legal
one.
issues Hawaii. He
Yeah.
has this.
April 19th. Yeah, I guess maybe not again. So only 2 in Hawaii right now. Yeah, that guy's a mess. Okay. Moon Knight head writer reveals why he scrapped plans for Kit Harington's Dane Whitman to appear. How about because Dane Whitman is not even a character? He works in a history museum. Okay.
Well, he's in London though. They're both in London, I guess.
My feeling was if we got Kit Harington to show up and he doesn't suit up and he doesn't kick ass, as a fan, I'm pissed off. Yeah, he would have to be like in the show, like for the whole way. Yeah, it's probably for the best. Fantastic Four reboot enlists Moon Knight producers Grant Curtis and Nick Pepin.
Oh boy.
Yeah, not thrilled about that. He was a production assistant on Captain America Civil War. I don't think the original Fantastic Four was my fault per se. Oh, Slater actually penned the first draft of Josh Trank's Fantastic Four. I guess he said they changed it and they only left one line, which was "Don't blow up." So now people blame him for the movie. That's pretty funny. But now we can blame him for Moon Knight. Did you guys know there was a Powerpuff Girl show coming?
Did you see the
No.
trailer for it? It looked awful.
No, but
They,
did they
like-
lose?
They released a trailer and then they were like, it's fucking awful. And it like went into like, it seemed like it was gone.
Why do they even need to make one of these? Like,
Chloe Bennett from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was set to play Blossom, but she couldn't do it because of scheduling conflicts. And right now, Dove Cameron will play Bubbles, Yana Peralta to play Buttercup. Previously, the cast included Donald Faison. Who's that? That name sounds familiar.
I don't
Donald
know.
Faison.
I don't know. He sounds familiar.
Professor Drake, Nicholas Podani as JoJo. Wait. Nicholas Podani? Who's going to play Mojo Jojo?
Okay.
Mojo Jojo was cool. But I know this name. Who is Donald Faison? Oh, yeah, the guy from Scrubs. Yeah. Robin Lively as Sarah Bellum. Tom Kenny set to narrate. Though Faison will have time after Legends of Tomorrow's cancellation. He was in that show. Based on Powerpuff's leaked script, there were tons of issues with this take on the iconic Cartoon Network hit. The property does have live action potential, though.
I don't think it does.
Yeah, no. This
don't
is one of
think
those
so.
things you shouldn't make live action.
Because it's funny because they were kids. But if
I
but it
don't
was
need
a
to see
cartoon,
adults
if you're
in
gonna
live
like make it
action.
real, yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi star Hayden Christensen says fans can expect lightsaber battles similar to the Star Wars prequels.
Good.
Okay, that's nice.
Some people didn't like those lightsaber
Well, in
battles.
comparison to what they did in the sequels, it's much better.
These characters have aged, but not that much yet. Most of my work on this project was in preparation. The physical preparation was intense. I had to put on a decent amount of weight and size up to fill the suit. He is 100% fully realized Vader. This, in a lot of ways, Vader in his prime. But he's a very complex character. There's an inherent struggle of identity that is always present. There's inner conflict. All right, whatever. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness writer explains how aliens inspired Scarlet Witch's rampage. I was watching Aliens a lot as I was writing because just tonally, this movie is a thriller and a feature-length chase. I just love how Aliens goes to great lengths to tell you how badass the Space Marines are, and then they just get slaughtered. That's funny. Then you are really scared of the xenomorphs for the rest of the movie, and that's what I wanted to accomplish with Wanda. I mean, they don't really talk about how badass the Illuminati are.
Well, they kind of do. Remember that Mr. Fantastic stupidly says Black Bolt can kill you with one
Yeah,
word
but they
from his
were
mouth,
only
and then he just
that was
immediately
like
dies.
It's
their
more
entire
like they just showed
appearance
that they beat Thanos. That's like their like.
But
we're
even that
badass.
was still within like the 5-minute time frame of their introduction to their death. At the end of the Illuminati sequence, I hope you were truly terrified of the Scarlet Witch. It's been awesome being in the theater, hearing the cheers, then the gasps and the groans. Yeah, I mean, cool. That's funny though. Aliens, that's a good one. Obi-Wan Kenobi star Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen defend phenomenal Revenge of the Sith. What we didn't hear at the time was people your age, your generation. We met those people now that really love our films, but it's taken us 15 years for us to hear that. But it's so nice. It's really nice. It changed my outlook, my relationship with Star Wars. It's different because of that. We put our heart and soul into them, and they were difficult to make. There was so much green screen and blue screen because George was pushing into this new realm that he had designed. He was responsible for ILM, and he wanted to max out that technology. But that meant for us that we were very much on green screens and blue screens, and it was hard work. And to do that and to be passionate about it and for the films to not be well received, it was really tough. They think that it's a great movie. Revenge of the Sith is a great movie. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Doctor Strange, writer on the movie's cliffhanger ending. I felt like we had a happy ending. We were like, gee, for a movie where a lot of bad shit happens, we got kind of a happy ending here. We really wrapped it up, and that didn't seem quite right. We kept thinking about what Mordo warned Strange in the first movie. The bill comes due. It's like Wong says, you possessed your own corpse. Like, is this guy ever going to face consequences? And it just felt a great nod to horror movies where there's that final twist. I get their rationale.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't work too well because the audience is left being like, wait, what the fuck? Like,
That I think is weird. Zack Snyder's Justice League and Army of Dead Oscar wins may have been rigged by bots. I think we kind of assumed that. I just thought no one cared about the Oscars to really do anything about it.
That's so fucking funny.
They've shared data from the hashtag analytic tracking tool and found that the most active contributors to both polls were autonomous web programs. How did they not know that? Like, isn't that obvious?
I
Do
don't
they
even
care
know.
really? I don't think anyone cares.
Yeah, no one cares. No one even cared that he won, to be honest. It just didn't make sense. How was that? Even the nominees that you could pick from didn't make sense for like greatest comic book hero moment. Doctor Strange 2 director Sam Raimi says he'll only make another Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. I love No Way Home. I thought it was a complete audience thrill ride. The crowd I was with were oohing and awing, and it had a great heart to it. It was great seeing my old friends again. I love Spider-Man and I love Tom Holland in the role, but if I made a Spider-Man movie, it would probably have to be with Tobey or he'd break my neck. All right. America Chavez solo project could be on the way.
I don't actually mind her, but I just feel like it wouldn't be like
I don't mind her, but what are we going to see? Her just jumping through portals?
she jumps into a world where
It'd
she
probably
skips
be
a bee, and the bee has the dimensional powers, and then the bee's parents get sucked into the portal.
the only story you can really tell with her that would be interesting is her trying to find her parents, especially now that she has like sorcerer powers. But,
Yeah. And I mean, she doesn't have sorcerer powers.
well, I'm assuming they'd
Doesn't
set it
do
like a
anything.
few months or so after she starts learning from the sorcerers. So
So she's going to be Sorcerer Junior and just looking for her parents. I don't want to watch that. Is that
Yeah, I
going to
don't
be a
know.
show? I mean, that's ridiculous.
And she's probably going to end up in some very normal ass alternate universes because they don't want to pay
it's
for like
it's like
wonky
WandaVision
shit.
where every episode's a different television show. Every episode's a different universe.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness seemingly cut a major variant from the movie. Oh yeah, there was supposed to be a Wong variant. They don't know what to do with him. There were once plans for Defender Wong to be in that opening scene. They would have killed him. He was going to be killed. Yeah. Yeah.
He would have
I
died
mean,
twice.
it's not like it's worse treatment than what he got. We'll see Darth Vader in his prime. We read that quote. Jack Ryan season 4 will be its last, but I don't even think season 3 is out yet. And I was like, oh, so does that mean this is worth watching? Because I watched season 1 and I thought it was okay. And I'm like, so is season 2 going to be good? And from what I read, it's not good at
That's
all.
what I heard.
And so third season hasn't even premiered, but John Krasinski is now producing it, I guess. And then they want to do a Michael Pena spinoff.
As Ding?
He wasn't
Wow.
even in this first season, so I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Ding is a character from the books that I've read, but nice. All right, whatever. Hey, that's what's her name?
What is this?
This is the Gray Man from the Russo brothers. Evans, who is playing a character that has been described as gleefully sadistic. The opposite of Steve Rogers. I don't know what the Gray Man is about. Chris Evans, the Gray Man villain, is a train wreck of a human being.
It'll be on Netflix on July 22nd, apparently. So
Might give that a shot. So it's got
since it's
Jessica
on
Henwick,
Netflix, I will.
Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, Lloyd Hansen. I don't know who that is. Jessica Henwick, and the Russo brothers.
Could be cool.
No Time to Die director Cary Fukunaga accused of unwanted sexual advances by multiple female actors.
That's
three
pretty on
young
par for
female
James Bond.
Rachel Vinberg, who plays Betty, I don't know, quickly responded to say he literally doesn't care about women. He only traumatizes them. That was followed by a series of Instagram posts which saw Vinberg allege that Fukunaga took advantage of their 2-decade age difference, claiming he pressured her into a relationship right after she turned 18. This was followed by similar comments from the twin actresses Hannah and Kaylin Loesch from Maniac who have said that he tried to pressure them into having a threesome in his penthouse.
A classic threesome in the penthouse, dude.
Oh boy, with sisters, like, dude, it's like,
Dude's trying to live in a porn. He's trying to live in a
yeah,
porn.
like they probably don't want to have sex with each other, dude. Like, just think about that for a second. It's not a porno. Even if they did, they would have to be like very damaged people. Kaylin says she was terrified after he pulled her on top of him. And when they refused his advances, the sisters claim the filmmaker suggested they drop acid and do Molly at his house upstate that weekend. Fukunaga reportedly invited the two women to his penthouse to view an early cut of No Time to Die, with the insinuation being that he used the movie as an excuse to seduce them. He was accused of firing actress Raiden Greer while shooting HBO's True Detective for refusing to appear topless on camera. A claim he has denied. He has yet to respond. Sounds real.
That's
Top Gun Maverick review. Tom
Jesus.
Cruise delivers the must-see theatrical experience you've been waiting for. And is this reviewer in Scientology? Because I kind of would like to know that.
When Lord Xenu was piloting the plane.
yeah.
Didn't one of you say they hate Top Gun?
Everett
Yeah,
hates
I
it.
don't like Top Gun.
Could be interesting. Memorial Day. Yeah, we'll see.
Forcing me to go see Top Gun would be the equivalent of forcing Emerson to go see Transformers.
Yeah, which was done to me multiple
Yeah, we
times,
did that.
Everett. So
Yeah, I know.
Obi-Wan, we'll leave this. Doctor Who, David Tennant and Catherine Tate to return for their 60th anniversary special. If you guys care about that. I heard that there's a female Doctor Who now.
no, female
there.
Doctor Who's gone. It's a black Doctor Who now.
Kia, they cast
That was
the
short-lived.
black gay guy from Sex Education.
Yeah.
That's the new Doctor.
Okay. I mean, I don't even know, but that guy was a good actor.
Mm.
MODOK has been canceled by Hulu after just one season, likely ending Marvel television era for good. So that was an animated show, MODOK.
I
Voiced
watched
by
that. It
Patton
actually
Oswalt.
wasn't half bad. It was kind of funny.
Well, it's gone now. You guys have heard that. We reported that Yellow Jacket will be MODOK in the MCU.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to be done.
Obi-Wan director explains why she brings back Vader instead of Maul.
Every 5 minutes, they bring Ball back.
Anakin and Vader are a huge and very profound part of his life. We ended up feeling that he made sense in telling this story. And Vader casts such a dark shadow in this that to have Maul as well, it might be a little bit much. Well, I hope it's good. To be honest, I don't really want either of them. So, Doctor Strange nearly featured Daniel Craig as the Illuminati's. They're saying Fantastic Four, but I also read that he was almost balder. I think
Okay.
he's a weird choice for both of them.
Just James Bond is on the Illuminati.
Let's see. However, potentially casting some doubt on that likelihood is the fact that Krasinski wasn't Marvel Studios and director Sam Raimi's first choice. According to Deadline, Daniel Craig was originally set to play the Patriarch, backed out due to concerns over COVID. I just don't see him as Reed Richards.
Yeah, neither do I. I like Krasinski. He did a good job.
Yeah. Solo Star Wars, Ron Howard reflects on the movie.
And it was
There's a lot I
disappointing.
love, yet it didn't hit the zeitgeist when it came to the market. Damn. I understood that this difference had created a schism to the point where they weren't going to be able to go on working together. That was really unfortunate because I like Phil and Chris and I also really admire them. When I looked at the footage and read the script, which I liked, I felt like I understood what it was that the studio and Lucasfilm were looking for in finishing the movie and reshooting some of the movie. Does he say what the schism was? They were fired and replaced. Though the studio didn't feel the same way when it began to veer from what was on the page. Okay. In a few ways, I thought of reconceiving a few scenes, which they were open to do. I had some really comforting conversations with Phil and Chris, who let me know that they weren't leaving because I was coming in. For me, it was an absolute exercise in professionalism and friendship, and it indirectly led to a season of Willow, which we're doing now.
Okay. So he's basically like, yeah, I tried my best. And
Plug in his show. Doctor Strange suffers a second week drop. but still eyes a 65 million weekend. So a second week drop. So
I mean, that makes sense though.
here's the thing, though. People are comparing it to Spider-Man: No Way Home or Black Widow. But someone made a good point online. What you should compare it to is Spider-Man Homecoming,
Mm-hmm.
because that is a Spider-Man and Iron Man film, or Thor Ragnarok, which is marketed as a Thor and Hulk film.
Because this is a Scarlet Witch, and
Yeah, and if you compare it to those, it's actually doing just fine.
yeah,
And is there a third like buddy movie, MCU buddy movie?
I mean, would you count Civil War, sort of, but not really?
No. So yeah, so I think it's just doing fine. I think Disney expects to hit $1 billion every time, but since they hit it with No Way Home, but No Way Home was an outlier, I think.
yeah.
She-Hulk's official synopsis seemingly leaked with a possible premiere date. This new comedy series sees Bruce Banner help his cousin Jennifer Walters when she needs an emergency blood transfusion, and guess what? She receives his powers too. Tatiana Maslany will play Jennifer, who is a lawyer specializing in superhuman-oriented legal cases. Mark Ruffalo is back as the Hulk alongside Tim Roth, who plays the Abomination.
I'm excited to see Tim Roth again.
Is
August
she
17th.
gonna have him like in a courtroom as Abomination?
I don't know, but I am curious. Like, Mark Ruffalo must have a lot of time to really think about this decision, because if he does it just like kind of haphazardly, that's not smart to give up your blood
No.
like that. Did you guys see this previs? So apparently they had planned, we're gonna do this whole fight between Moon Knight and the Jackal. I gotta say, when Moon Knight fights, he kind of sucks.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he just like throws stuff and he like kind of
He
dodges.
throws
and,
really
like,
slow, wide looping punches. Like,
yeah, it's questionable.
so there
I
was originally
mean-
going to be a fight. So, yep. Iron Man to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Oh wait, we'll wait on that. Okay, that is the last one. So let's look at this one.
Oh, they
10
made a tier
huge
list.
plot
Emerson.
leaks for the upcoming
Kill
Star
yourself.
Wars Obi-Wan series you need to know. It's like, well, why do I need to know them if they're leaks? Like, how could that be? I need to know them to watch the show, yet they're leaks. Darth Vader apparently has a brutal introduction. Cameos. I mean, it has a picture of Liam Neeson, but he already said he's not going to do TV. A big post-credit scene. Sounds terrible.
Wait, these descriptions are the unironic leaks.
Obi-Wan Kenobi fails again. So I guess she's going to die. I don't know. Order 66. Flashback. Okay. Obi-Wan Kenobi reunites with his former Padawan. Okay, we knew that. The Clone Wars flashback. Okay. Darth Vader's revenge. I don't know how he was going to take revenge. Clash on Tatooine. I'm so
This
sick of
is-
Tatooine.
This is a weird list.
Darth Vader's big mistake. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I don't really want to read it. Doesn't sound too great. Ranking MCU movies according to Rotten Tomatoes.
This is every MCU movie ever made.
Yeah, but it's Rotten Tomatoes, so it's like it doesn't even matter.
Don't agree with that.
Eternals is last. Thor: The Dark World.
Don't agree with that.
Yep.
Incredible Hulk.
We're getting there.
Iron Man
Iron
2.
Man 2, yeah, it's in the area.
Doctor Strange number 16.
No.
Wow.
Avengers Age of
Ultron should
Ultron.
be the worst.
Ultron should be lower. Thor
Thor's-
1 kind of deserves it too.
It's not that great, yeah. Captain Marvel.
That should be lower.
Iron Man 3.
No, Captain Marvel's better than that. That should be higher.
Captain
Well,
America: The First
we're getting
Avenger.
Where it's like
I don't know. It's number 12. It shouldn't be that much higher. They have like
Yeah,
30 movies.
but
now.
it should be in front of Black Widow.
Well, it should also be in front of Shang-Chi, which we haven't seen yet.
I'll bet you Shang-Chi's in the top 7.
Black Widow number 11.
No, absolutely not.
Ant-Man number 10. At least it made the top 10. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I'm not crazy about that one. Infinity War also tied for number 9.
No.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is better than Ant-Man.
No, garbage.
Jesus.
Smoking that crack. You see, these numbers are inflated because they were around the Infinity War Endgame, like they were in between.
Uh-huh.
Doctor Strange.
Okay, yeah.
The Winter Soldier number 6. Far From
Shang-Chi's
Home,
better than the Winter Soldier.
Number 6 also. The Guardians of the Galaxy 5 is a tie with Captain America Civil War. The Avengers 4 is a tie with Spider-Man Homecoming. I mean, Homecoming's pretty high up there.
Shang-Chi does not deserve to be number fucking 4.
Shang-Chi is tied 4th with Ragnarok. Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's tied with Homecoming for 4.
Trash.
Yeah, Shang-Chi is just bad. God, no one even talks about it. Like
It's because no one believes it.
Thor Ragnarok, number 3, with No Way Home. Wow. Okay. Iron Man number 2 and Endgame number 2 and Black Panther number 1. I can see Black Panther having the highest score.
I think people
yeah.
are dumb.
Well, it's just Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes score is also very weird.
Yeah.
The number of people who gave it a positive rating, but that doesn't say like how much the rating was. So like you could get theoretically like everyone gives it a 3. Well, that's like 100% fresh, right?
Yeah.
It's not, but it doesn't reflect the fact that it's a 3 out of 5. All right. So what do y'all want?
So what's on the list?
Yeah, what's next?
So Black Swan is gone. We've done Social Network. Are you guys interested in one-offs or series?
Are we still planning on doing the Northman, or is that out the door by now?
I mean, I'll see it when it comes out. I don't feel like I have to like go pay for it.
Yeah, I agree. How many weeks do we have till the next big thing?
What is the next big thing? Is it Ragnarok or Love and Thunder in July?
Love and Thunder doesn't come out till July, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I.
Okay, so let's do a series then.
Can we start Zack Snyder's like 300 and Watchmen? That gets 2 weeks right off the bat.
You want to do a two movie series? It's not much of a series.
Well, I'm just saying like just his movies in general.
I mean, X-Men is a long series. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'd be down to do
5,
X-Men.
6, 7. 7 weeks.
Yeah, I'd be down to
Yeah.
start X-Men.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We want to
6,
save Fantastic Four for when that movie starts
7.
to come out.
That's at the beginning of July. I don't know when that movie's coming out. So I'm kind of just going by like the mood of what I want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to watch X-Men, but since we're gonna watch 7 weeks of X-Men. Fuck.
We did a whole year of Tom Hanks movies.
Jesus Christ.
But those were good movies.
Well,
Yeah.
most of them. Most of them. One of them we turned off in the middle of my reaction to it.
Yeah, I guess it's the most interesting thing right now. We could maybe slide Minority Report in there around Top Gun,
Yeah.
since it's topical.
And I mean, I don't know when the Lord of the Rings series comes out, we can do those movies.
I forgot
When
about
does that come out?
I don't know.
Lord of the, what was it called?
Lord of the Rings of Power.
September.
Okay. So we have some time.
We'll see.
Okay.
I would like to watch that one over summer, I think, because
Yeah.
if I'm like working too much, I may not have I don't know.
Yeah. No, that
I want to
totally
give it a
makes
real
sense.
shot because I'm not a fan.
I know you aren't. Believe me. There's a reason we're not watching the extended editions. There
We don't
are
wanna see
elves
too many
dancing
elves.
in a forest. It's not going to do any good for you.
Okay, so we're doing X1.
All right. Cool.
All right, see you guys next week.
See ya.
See ya.